Hi Capricorn. The light is dim because my eyes are very sensitive today, so my apologies if this is on the dimmer side for you. I'm going to try to turn it up a little bit, but they're just very sensitive and I'm just honoring that. So before we get into it, I just wanted to let you know. This is your Cancer season reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version to this reading, which will be in the first link below. If you would like that, that will be there. Give it about 24 to 48 hours before the link showing up for Patreon, but you can always check out my Patreon, subscribe there, and get it emailed directly to you. I'll be having more availability in my calendar coming in this coming month, so please check that out if you haven't been able to book something. Also, you can always email me. My information is also there. Yeah, welcome to July. You guys, I have some things to talk about with you guys, but I want to pull some cards first. 2 Capricorn full moons, right? So Capricorn risings, Capricorn suns. A lot of joy can happen in this time, and then what came next? A lot of joy. The next thing I was going to say, and the Tower card fell out, is that this is also a time with change. For a lot of you, I do think this is more of your nervous system. However, for a lot of you, this is you being exposed to the change that is happening now. You are more conscious to this change. A lot of us, I'm recognizing, are coming out of survival in a way. There's something that, if depending on wherever you're at in your healing journey, you may feel like to some extent, you're coming out of survival. That's for some of you. For others of you, this could be about your nervous system shifting, but others of you, I do see this as a very clear, direct insight. The sun and then the Tower. You're being exposed to something and then everything changes. That could be even in your body, in your heart. Something in your heart is clearing up. Last month was a lot about the clearing up. This month, I believe it's more about the cleansing. Remembering also that as a more feminine sign being earth, and Cancer being water, also in deep femininity right now. Things are carving out. You know you've been responding differently, and you knew something was coming, and here it is. I knew I had a reason I had to talk to you guys first. Your reading won't be out first, but I am talking to you first, just so you know. So this is how you translate this change. The Sun card to me is telling you to explore that part of yourself that feels joy, that your heart is opening, that whatever changes in your life because of that, if this is it, like your heart is opening, things are changing, and it's feeling uncomfortable at the same time. Like it's not all like, oh my God, this feels amazing. It's like, yeah, this feels amazing. And this is showing me how much in my life I haven't had this, right? Then there's that. If you directly go there, I highly suggest mantra or some kind of repetitious thought in your head. In times when you need to manage it, it's in times where you might be not in the best place, where you can't take a minute to feel what you're processing. So that's why I'm saying that. If you do have time, definitely sit with this if you can this month. A lot can be cleansed. A lot can be, the word reset has come up a lot as well. This is also, for some of you, it's your ego shifting. And before you say anything, just know it's not, when we talk about the ego, it's not always negative. And if you've heard me say that before, and if you haven't, here it is. This is a good thing. This is a safety that you feel. Our ego is necessary in order for us to learn. That's what we're doing here. Hello. It's your ego around safety, right? You're able to go out, you're a go-getter. You've had your moments, but as you mature, as you realize how much you want to live a certain way or fixated on certain things, you then start to want to accumulate more. Something about the way you value money, something about your values in general has been changing for a while, and whatever you're receiving at this time, whatever maybe ego death, which brings more joy, but at the same time has you let go more, which is actually a sign. It's like letting go plus joy in the heart and the body equals more the feeling of safety. For some people, yes, it can be unsafe, but this is not what this is showing me. This is a breakthrough on your sense of security and what security means to you at this time. What security is continuing to mean to you, and what is revealed to you, and what it means to you, and actually implementing what it means to you. I think you do that more in secret, more than people know. But when you're actually comfortable to talk about it, it comes through in your conversation, how you interact. It's not necessarily that you're talking exactly about it unless like that's where the direction flows. You're not one to really want to control the emotion too much of the room unless like there's a moment going on, let's just say. But you are at this give and take with life where you're able to receive and bounce instead of be all reactive. It's not that you're always reactive, but there's been a time, you had Saturn and then Pluto, and now it's retrograde, and there's just if you've been indecisive with certain things, and for some reason if you're specifically talking about or thinking about X, Y, and Z, for a lot of you it is work, money, what that looks like, how that's flowing, and how you're like on this philosophical insight as well. And you may not be thinking about how that comes together, but it will, and you will start probably thinking about it, because you don't mind working, you're a worker, but you want to work in a different way. It's very obvious that is what's changing. You've also learned a lot, and you are integrating too. This 10 of Wands is like, okay, it's time to integrate some shit. It's time to put some stuff down. Some of you could be at your breaking point too. For some of you, it's a lot more, it feels like the ground has shattered from underneath you. And as a goat who likes to climb that mountain, as that person who likes to climb the ladder and learn a lot, it can feel a lot bigger at first, a lot more dramatic. With the cardinal signs, I have found that there's a certain drama that comes to us, but that's the like physical, emotional breakthrough to the next thing. That's what initiates everything. It doesn't always have to be external, but it can feel very internal for us. And I think what you're noticing here is that whatever has been revealed to you, whatever has been shown to you, has a lot to do also with the environment. This could also, for some of you, about this, a part of the security in this breakthrough that's happening is that you are also, this is allowing you to see very clearly where it is that you, and how it is that you receive, and rebuilding your relationship with how you receive. And I'm not saying you don't know how to receive at all. It's just where you choose. The Three of Pentacles after the Six of Cups in reverse is a certain release of control of how you're perceived, and therefore there's even more of you revealing to other people on purpose. Not, this is very conscious, but then something out of maybe nowhere for some of you, but some of you may have intuitively felt something coming. And for those of you who weren't aware, you could probably reflect and you'll see it coming. I highly recommend reflecting, every once in a while, Capricorn, because it will make you a lot sharper in the long run. And you're already sharp, but it's just it's a good practice that I think you'd like. And for your future. Take it or leave it. Now, also it's about your interactions with people and your relationships you've built. You've realized through this that some of these were built off of the work that you've done, right? And what you wanted to uphold about yourself, or whatever it was, maybe whatever perception or part of yourself that you don't mind being seen for, but then there's these other parts of yourself that maybe are unspoken. But you're being heard differently, seen differently. There's something changing. Speaking about something important to you could also bring more income that's maybe less physical labor. This would just require more mental, still physical, but not as much as what the Ten of Wands is showing here. It looks like you've realized that there is a missing connection and there is an emotional, that's what I really wanted to get to, but of course I want to let the cards play out here. There's an emotional intelligence upgrade happening with you, I feel, for a lot of you. There's a reason why things have been pulled back for a while and maybe a lot more internal. Yeah, some good, very good things externally were happening, and some, a lot of those were coming up, but it's because you were able to pull back a little for a while, and then things start to come up because that is a part of that give and take process, that dance, that relationship between the internal and the external, the subconscious and the conscious. You are now speaking consciously about some things, and you're no longer, maybe if you felt pressure subconsciously, consciously, and built it up, or something is being very clearly released. You're releasing through yourself, your vessel. You are creating as you go. You are being very open about maybe even what Pluto has taught you. Wow, bottom of the deck. This is opening up another, what some would say, portal of money to make that you didn't know was underneath it all, which is showing you a different version of yourself and a different version of the world you could possibly live in. Now, if some of you are like, okay, the throat, like speaking, I don't know about that. Regardless of if it's on a public platform or if it's with one-on-one, it's in that realm, or if it's with just having more open conversations with people, being seen more for what you're saying and your opinions or what you believe or what you went through or your story, or it could be communicating some form of art. It doesn't matter. It's something that you value that will, don't hold on to this too much, Capricorn. Like, don't put this like all or nothing spin on it, but to start something new that's been trying to get to you for a while. And through this shift with Pluto, you are now really hearing clearly, because a lot of times what you may or may not know is the intuition is a very small voice. It's that voice that eventually gets louder because it becomes signs, or you hear something and it like emotionally hits you. You feel it. You feel what that person or that movie or that overhearing that conversation or whatever it is, you feel, or that one person or that person, or even could be a random person in your life. There's just someone or something that even from your own self, right? So this is something I've been thinking about that I think I don't know. We're talking a little more philosophical here, so let's just talk about it. Is that I'm gonna bring this up a lot this month. So there is an energy like in the stars going around with this too, and we'll get more into it in the second part. Saturn really hasn't come up too much, but it rules your sign, so what we sometimes, and this is not exactly what I was going to say, but this needs to come out first. What we sometimes forget is that the thing we resist the most, whether that's doing something, taking action physically, like you have normally no problem doing that as long as your confidence is at, you know, at least a neutral level. Anything below, you might need a little extra push. And notice how you do that, by the way. And if you can, start asking for it, because you can get it in other ways besides, you know, whatever, pressuring yourself. That's what. So if you're resisting feeling a certain emotion, that could be why you need this moment. You need this moment to realize that the safety that you feel to allow yourself to receive what's been coming up for maybe a while is really important to actually sit down and listen to, actually sit down and say, like, and like just hear out whatever this thing is trying to get to you, write about it. It sounds weird, but if you haven't experienced something like this, but it's like really getting in touch with your own energy if you haven't before, or if it's been a while that you've connected to your creativity. It could evoke very strong emotion at first because it's something that's been waiting for you to acknowledge it again, right? It's like not paying attention to a plant, and it's like, well, how do I regenerate that plant? Or even like a living, you know, being, and it is a living being, so even if we eat them, right, they're living at one point. So the insights that you're gaining is allowing you to experience this rebirth in real time. I very much feel like you and Cancer have this intuitive way of just transforming and like just it's happening as you're constantly. You may have thought about it for a while, or you've just been really in flow, and all of a sudden flow starts to even open up more. And what you've maybe been waiting for is yourself. So in this time, we could think about savior complexes, which is, I've been researching a lot of cult documentaries. Not interested in cults, but I like, you know, we're doing tarot, so I mean, I know what you're thinking, or maybe I don't. So is that savior complex. And what I've been thinking about more and more as having my own experiences, and as, you know, Capricorn, the sign after death, right? You're already after it. You're maybe contemplating it, realizing like, I'm only alive when I'm doing. But I think sometimes, and maybe even now, you're pulling back and it's like, oh, you're feeling like the receptivity is a different way of being alive. You're more so receptive and responding to life instead of resisting. There's more of a free flow, but there will be breakthroughs at first, right? There are some dams to set free this month for you, and I do find it is a bit of a flow that happens, but overall it's showing you what you're capable of. And that savior complex, what I mean by that is that when I've heard and seen and experienced and have been a part of, and like you can tell when God comes in and steps in to save you, because like that's what they're meant to do. And everyone, and like people, when they talk about it, will say one thing or another, and like near death experiences. Yes, I've been messing up phrases lately. And what now I see clearly is that, yes, it is that initial moment, but then it's up to you to make that moment mean something. It's up to you to make all of these moments that you've had and these realizations mean something. And that's why you, and God bless you, do that, right? One of my favorite Capricorns was my grandmother. And that woman had more integrity than any person I have known to this day. I'd like to say that I'm doing my best with it, but I still have a lot to learn from her. And something about you guys is that when something feels true and you believe something, regardless of if another intellectual and it makes sense intellectually, but when you really believe something and you feel it, and it's also from a joyful place, and like that space where you feel what's flowing through you, anything is possible. Anything. And more you're getting signs. If you haven't, it's happening. It's going to happen. This is the season of karma. I don't know if there's any more messages for you. I've been shuffling this for minutes. Unless this wants to get very specific. Oh, look who decided to show up to the party. The last row is all major arcanas. And the bottom of the deck is the 3 of Cups. For some of you, it is about collaborating and bringing yourself out of a rut, maybe a moment of stuckness. Maybe you can't do it yourself. You can't go about something yourself. You may actually need, ooh, this is kind of cool. I don't know what is happening with my light, but we're gonna keep it here. Ooh. I've been having these light, it's funny, electricity. But yeah, your nervous system, the ground you stand on, your stability, you're getting to the root of something that you didn't even maybe know you wanted to know about yourself, but it looks like you are more than happy to have found out. It's a celebration of how far you've come. A rebirth to what it is that you're here for and here to do. Seeing yourself clearly, regardless if others see you exactly that same way. We all know that's not necessarily what it's about. And being seen in that intimate way. You also may feel like there's a lot of pressure around you, but these are all these are all in the dark. This is a spiritual moment for you. And it may be important to share at some point for sure, but it will make you feel even more connected, perhaps, to those who you didn't realize you weren't feeling as connected to, or you didn't realize that something was missing, or there's something there that is feeling, and you see that when you let go of control, or when you allow things to be let go of, especially how you're received by others, and notice who you care about that around, if that is something you also find to be true. I don't know what's going on with this lighting, but we're going to keep it here. Maybe there's nothing, but on my end it looks funny. But you're maybe not, you're needing to see it so clearly because you're needing to realize it's not as important as you may have perceived it to be, and maybe you didn't realize how much it was affecting you and affecting your expression, perhaps. Abundance is coming from not that you didn't give a fuck, but you're noticing maybe these, for lack of a better word, people pleaser tendencies that have held you back or held you in a certain place. And you're digesting it. And you're feeling it so deeply, like it's very fertile this month too. You're feeling whatever it is that you are starting to do so deeply within you, in those creation places. So also just like notice your libido this month as well. Sorry about this. Yeah. And notice through this, like, why it's not important If your insight about you is different than someone else's, that's not important. If you care about them, of course, you understand their perspective. But what's most important is you're seeing yourself. And it may feel, and I think the reason why I'm pausing so much is like, I think you may feel a little overwhelmed or so well received that you can't just like wash over the moment and reflect on it. Like, you actually have to really be in the moment, because you're seeing like what you want so clear. It's just happening, and it's possible that you're with the right person or really in the right place at the right time. And when that happens, things become so clear, especially as you're taking steps internally and externally to continue that process, because that's what you want to do. So those things are clearing up for you, and these are the road signs in the dark. So it's this trust in yourself, trusting that what you can control, right? How do you feel? What are you visualizing? What do you see for yourself? What do you see for yourself right now? What's possible now? What are you not open to? I know a lot of questions, but this is a great time to contemplate all of this, because this cleansing and this clearing is directing you very clearly onto the path that you're going to now, and what's changing or what's shifting or what needs to start, or what has started and really needs to be moved forward with. And you may get very direct insights, and I would say act upon them before speaking about those. But something you need to get off your chest is going to clear things up. Just get it off your chest. Just do it. We want to hear it. Trust me. We want to hear it. And then do it. You'll get the support. Trust that you'll get the support that you're looking for. All right, Capricorn. No pressure. No pressure. It's all you. And we'll see you next month. All information is below. Don't forget.